Hey folks, welcome to our next tutorial about color and texture. Today we're going to talk about the difference between color and material, how to apply a texture, and I'll give you a quick overview about the texture mapping. Here you see a cube with a color. I animated it a bit with 3 movers on the X, Y and Z axis, and what you can see is as long as I have this color before it, the color values are the same at every pixel of the cube. When I bypass the color node with Ctrl A, you'll see the cube will automatically have a material on it. This is default even if there's no material node before the cube. If I add a material node, this default is overwritten by the settings of the material node. Here I can change the color, for example to red again. And as you can see, the cube will now react to the lighting source. I also can add a texture to the cube. I just pick a texture node and put it whether before the cube or the color node. I'll take a texture generator to get a random texture. For example, this one, I just put random values in here. This one will do. And now you can see that the texture is on the cube. Also, I can just drag and drop some pictures or images or textures from your desktop or a folder and drop it directly into your hierarchy. Ventuz will ask you to save the data to the project and generate the node. As you can see, you can put textures behind each other, like here. You can put up to 8 textures behind each other. You will have noticed that if this side is facing the camera, it becomes pretty bright, so you almost can't see what is on this plane. This is because of the scene light, like here you can see it. The scene light is coming from the front. To change this, we can override the scene light by dropping a directional light into the scene. In bigger scenes, you might want to fake the light, because if you do it like this, the light will change, and maybe you don't want this black places on the geometry. To do so, you just override this material with a color, so there's no light effects on it, and then just take some textures and you'll have a pretty decent effect. Those textures here are in a container. As you can see, it's just some textures behind each other. I can just take them off and you'll see how the geometry changes. Anyway, to have this effect, you'll have to make some adjustments to your texture nodes. Like you can see over here, the shading option is in this case default. This one is custom and this one adds. Also, you have not a pass-through mapping. This would look like this. You can see the texture is static, doesn't move. If you put it to sphere map, for example, the texture is projected on your geometry and you'll get this smooth effect. Another thing good to know is those options here on the mapping concerning U and V. By default in Ventuz, this is set to clamp, which means the last pixel of your texture will be repeated. So this is why we get those orange bars over here. You can also set this to mirror or wrap. Same is for V. And you can also set a border to do something like this. So much about the basic things of coloring and texturing.
And in the next tutorial we are going to talk about containers and the repository.